Good morning, everybody. I'm What You Need. You can subscribe to my channel if you like this video, as well as comment, share, and donate via Western Union MoneyGram online. I can give you the details of it. So, as you can see from the title, question is: you guys claim he's the best welterweight in the world. You even claim that Terrence Crawford is pound for pound number one. What is the criteria you base this on? The skills? Barbershop Conversation already went through this this morning, but I want to just add to the discussion. So, Barbershop Conversation said, of late, in the last 2 years that Terrence Crawford was welterweight, what has he actually done? Who has he actually fought? Errol Spencer's fought better competition than him. Every single other top tier welterweight has fought better competition than him, including Sergey Lipinets. So, what makes him the best welterweight in the world? It's a good question. And I want to add to the conversation by saying, how did Kell Brook become the best welterweight in the world? By beating Sean Porter? Was that it? At the time, Kell Brook was the best number one welterweight in the world, even though Floyd Mayweather wasn't there anymore. Uh, because he was the only one to face a world champion at the time. All the other welterweights, who were Keith Thurman, was an interim champion. I think he had just been promoted to regular champion, but he hadn't fought anyone of the caliber of a Sean Porter to become a welterweight champion. The other world champion out there, I'm trying to remember who the world champions were at the time. Timothy Bradley was the WBO champion. Shout out to Tommy Temper, man. Tommy, he said he wanted to contact me. So I contacted you on Discord, but it looked like you were off. We can talk in a couple of seconds, right? Um, yeah, so when you look at it, you know, the other welterweight champion out there, I think, was Manny Pacquiao. You sent me a message? Okay, I'm gonna check you right now. All right, so let me just get this really quick. The other champions out there were Keith Thurman was the WBA champion, the WBC champion. I'm trying to remember who he was. When Floyd left the building, who was the WBC champion? There was none. It was vacant. Okay, Keith Thurman had to fight Danny Garcia for that title. No, actually, Danny Garcia got that title, but he didn't get it when Kell Brook was champion. So Kell Brook became champion sometime in 2015, beating Sean Porter to become the IBF champion. The WBO champion, I think, was still Timothy Bradley. He had just inherited the championship from Floyd Mayweather. I think he faced Jesse Vargas for it or something like that. And then you had the WBC championship was vacant. Well, Floyd was still the WBC champion in recess, and it became vacated later. So Kell Brook was the only guy that really fought a substantial world champion, which was Timothy Bradley. All the other belts were vacated. Now, not Timothy Bradley, sorry, I'm Sean Porter. So that's how he became the number one welterweight in the world, because at the time, the welterweight division was still growing. But when you look now, today, at the accomplishments of all the welterweights, Keith Thurman being a unified world champion at welterweight, facing Manny Pacquiao, even though he split decision lost to him, Manny Pacquiao being a backup in the mix, and he's now the super champion, WBA super champion, beating Keith Thurman and having a host of nice top known names he's beaten in boxing. You look at Errol Spence, who's beaten Mikey Garcia, Kell Brook, when Kell Brook was the number one welterweight in the world. He beat Sean Porter just recently there, the WBC world champion. When you look at the caliber of opposition, Danny Garcia becoming WBC world champion, having beaten the likes of Lamont Peterson at welterweight. That's about it, really. He had close fights with Keith Thurman and Sean Porter. When you look at all of these welterweights in the division and what they have accomplished, Terrence Crawford is the one that has accomplished the least, right? He's fought the least. He's fought no top 10 welterweights, as far as I do know. They class sometimes Galalios as a top 10 welterweight, but he's not. Right? So if you look at it, Terrence hasn't done anything at welterweight. So why is he classed so high? He should not be classed as the number one welterweight. And pound for pound number one in the world, like we all said, that probably was applicable 2 years ago. But now, after facing the level of competition he has, you can't say that. Right? 2 years ago, It's a long time ago, as Barbershop Conversation was saying. So I would just say that the level of competition that Terrence Crawford has faced kind of phased him out from being a number one status. It wasn't that his skills aren't very good. It's that his skills are not being tested by higher level competition. So that's what Barbershop Conversation was saying. Now, as to what I'm going to add to this comment to show you guys again why he's obviously not the number one welterweight in the world. A lot of people say, well, he's being ducked, which is not true. He's not being ducked at all. In-house is doing in-house stuff, just like how Bob Arum right now is doing in-house stuff with Terrence Crawford. So in-house stuff is being done with the other welterweights. Okay. Poopy Sister says, sorry to get off topic, but are you going to watch the Joker movie and review it on the other channel? Yeah, sure. I'll do that, but I haven't gone and seen it yet. Tommy Temper asks if the movie's good. I'm pretty sure it's good. I'm pretty sure it's a good movie. It's probably pretty graphic, though. Very violent. I also want to see Gemini Man for reasons unknown to me. They say it's crappy, but I still want to see it. So, yeah, I'll be reviewing that, definitely, the Joker movie. Also, I'll give some updates on the Snyder Cut on the other channel. Yeah, but so what I was going to say now is something that other people don't consider. In the welterweight division, we have basically the top tier welterweights are the following. We have Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Errol Spence Jr., Manny Pacquiao, Danny Garcia. I guess Mikey Garcia is now a welterweight, so we have to include him, Mikey Garcia and Terrence Crawford, right? And you can also throw in Sergio Lipinets and Dennis Ugas, okay? Now, based on that, that's top 8. If you include Jesse Vargas, that's 9. And to round it off, I don't know who can we talk about. Anyway, Tangible Boxing thoughts on Hatman. Who's Hatman? Booby Sister says, when I say he's being ducked, what I mean is the other welterweights don't care to fight him. Not that they're afraid of him. First of all, he's not being ducked. Period. Terrence Crawford is not being ducked. Right? You see, he's just one of several options out there. He's one of several options. And if you have multiple options, you choose what options you want to do. You don't have to face Terrence Crawford. Now, it's up to him to want to have to face you. He's got to take steps and measures to make it worth your while to face him. And he's not doing that. Terrence Crawford's not doing that. Okay? Tommy Temper says, I think Hatman's on Eddie's payroll. Hatman. Hatman as in the YouTube channel Hatman? Where he's talking up Eddie Hearn a lot? Listen, man, first of all, I'm not on Eddie's payroll, but I think that DAZN's putting on some hell of a fights. This weekend's fights was crap, but I think they put on hell of a fights. The fights coming up with Bitabiev versus Gavordik, is that on DAZN? That's not on DAZN, that's on ESPN. Okay, well, that's a hell of a fight. I do believe DAZN is putting on, I think so, Comey versus no, Teofimo Lopez versus Comey. It's not DAZN either, is it? Tangible Boxing says Crawford has a belt, so it's worth the other welterweights fighting him, or it's worth his time to fight them, because they have already had belts. Danny Garcia's at the WBC. He has the. Think about it this way: Terrence Crawford is in a position like Demetrius Andrade, in that nobody really gives a damn about a WBO belt. It's the least prestigious belt in all of the belts. Canelo didn't even go after the WBO belt, right? Every now and then he goes and picks up one, but he really ain't it. Okay, the most prestigious belts are the WBC and WBA. Right? Everybody wants the WBC belt. Everybody wants a green belt. That's the most prestigious belt of all belts. So just imagine you got the WBC belt. Sean Porter had the WBC belt. Danny Garcia had the WBC belt. Keith Thurman had the WBC belt. Right? This is the most prestigious belt. Now Errol Spence has gotten the WBC belt. Now, of all the belts you want to get the WBC belt, right? Manny Pacquiao has had it. Okay, so all of those other welterweights have had the WBC belt except for Terrence Crawford. In his entire career, Terrence Crawford has never had the WBC belt. He's had the WBO. I think no. When he became undisputed, he had the WBC when he beat Victor Posto. Sorry, my bad. But at welterweight, he's never had it, right? He has the WBO belt, the least prestigious belt. Okay, and here's the thing: you can't just sit down on your laurels with the WBO belt. These other guys have had belts. Okay, they've had belts. You're doing it like if these guys never had a belt, so they're going to try and chase after Terrence. They have had belts. They have a reputation. Sean Porter's forced everybody. For example, okay, the only two people left to face that are top tier that Sean Porter needs to face is Pacquiao and Crawford. Okay? And Crawford, for all his stuff, he's talking about how Sean Porter's his friend. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. If he's your friend, then you'll give him a payday. If he's your friend, you'll give him a payday. That's bullshit. I don't want to hear about no friend. I don't want to hear about my brother. This is boxing. Derevyanchenko, sparring partner of Danny Jacobs, faced him. It's boxing. Get a paycheck. Get some recognition. Okay? Terrence Crawford is yet to prove something in the welterweight division. What I mean by prove, I mean face somebody. Right? And I'm not trying to disrespect him because I'm sure he has a lot of skill and everything. But for his skill level, he's facing tomato cans, man. He's facing tomato cans. Even Demetrius Andrade has faced, Solenki. At least we could say he faced Solenki. You know what I'm saying? Solenki, right? That's not really a tomato can, right? Jamal Charlo, he faced, who was a good guy? Good opponent he faced. Who did Charlo face that was good? Matt Korobov, right? We all know Matt Korobov was a good fighter. Always has been, right? He had his Korobov. Who has Demetrius Andrade faced? Who has Terrence Crawford faced? Nobody. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got no. He ain't faced nobody, and that's the problem, right? That's like everybody praising up fucking heavyweight dude, the white heavyweight dude. Shit, I just was real blank. That's crazy. I need to use my brain more, otherwise it's going to decay on me. Tyson Fury, right? Everybody's praising up Tyson Fury, and then we get really mad when Tyson Fury fights bums. And Tyson Fury took it to the extreme. He fought guys that were like not even top 50, right? And he took it to the extreme, and he fought literally guys that just completely don't belong on his level, right? It's the same thing happened to Terrence Crawford. You can't call him pound for pound number one, and he's facing guys that are not nowhere near on his level. They're not. None of them. And Amir Khan's just a name now, right? So, and when everybody was saying, Amir Khan will outbox him in the early rounds, I was like, hell no. He didn't even outbox Canelo. What are you talking about? I was the only guy saying that. So it wasn't surprising to me when Terrence Crawford caught him with a left hook, 2 left hooks actually, a double left hook, right? And put him down. It wasn't surprising to me. Khan's open for that all day, every day, right? And it's like, he needs somebody of note. And there are people out there of note who want to face him. It doesn't matter if they're on the other side of the street or not. They want to face him, right? Porter's father called him out. Now I'm hearing Terrence Crawford talking about, oh, he my friend. I mean, come on, man. And Porter want to face everybody. Porter want to face everybody. Porter's that kind of dude. And so just like, it's kind of whack. But I think that Errol Spence is going to face, I put up a poll and you guys wanted to, just by a marginal notion, you want Terrence Crawford to face Errol Spence next in 2020. And guess what? It just might happen. It might be that Errol Spence's next fight, instead of being Danny Garcia, might be Terrence Crawford. So you guys might get what you want. It definitely is going to happen in 2020. But my point anyway is, at the end of the day, Terrence Crawford's not being isolated out. The only people who keeping Terrence Crawford from having really good fights is Bob Arum. And you hear Bob Arum say it over and over. Oh, he got a mandatory. It's Gavaliauskas. You hear him saying it over and over again. Oh, he got a mandatory. It's Gavaliauskas. They're going to use the mandatory bullshit. They don't talk about, hey, unless you got a unification. No, fuck that. You don't even have to have a unification. All you have to do is pay the guy step aside money. And Gavaliauskas will step aside. And Gavaliauskas, he was supposed to be the mandatory, was the interim dude. He did not look impressive against Ray Robinson. For those of you who don't know who Ray Robinson is, go look him up. He did not look impressive. Right? Gavaliauskas is a worse boxer than Clarissa Shields. Clarissa Shields, at least she can pressure an opponent. She knows what to do to pressure an opponent. This dude don't know what the hell to do when a dude be boxing properly. He don't know how to cut off the ring. He don't know how to do shit. He getting pot shot all the time, and the dude just pulling away from him. He don't know how to bob and weave. He don't move his head. He don't do shit. That's Gavaliauskas, the so-called whatever the hell. I told you I was not impressed with him a long time ago. Tommy Temper said Floyd rarely fought for the WBA. Yeah, because nobody really, to be honest with you, nobody really respects. To this day, the WBO is one of the belts used for undisputed, but nobody really cares about it. Nobody really cares about the WBO, to be honest with you. Because the WBO, but there are people who have, you can still become a world champion, so it's still, you still be respected as a world champion, but ain't nobody really care about it like that. It is what it is, though. We should be rooting for Crawford to beat these guys because that will establish an undisputed champion, since PBC fighters will vacate the WBO. No, they won't. They won't vacate the WBO. Andy Ruiz has the WBO, and this kid at super featherweight, I always forget his name for reasons. Jamal Herring, he's a WBO champion. He's Al Heyman, PBC. Clarissa Shields is WBO champion. Remember, she undisputed middleweight champion, so she has the WBO belt. It's just the least recognized of the major titles. All right, you know what I'm saying? But Crawford beating those guys, I don't understand your logic. What do you mean by we should be rooting for Crawford to beat those guys because that will establish an undisputed champion? I'm not quite sure I understand you. If those guys beat Crawford, okay, like Sean Porter, for instance, faces Crawford and beats him, he'll have the WBO belt. Guess what will happen? He will have to face now either Errol Spence or Manny Pacquiao, right? If Pacquiao don't vacate, or if Pacquiao face Mayweather or whatever they're doing, because Pacquiao always focus on Mayweather for some reason. So if Pacquiao say he go off to face Mayweather, and maybe either he keeps his title or he abandons his title, then what happens is that somebody else will fight for the WBA. And once they fight for the WBA and they get the WBA, because Keith Thurman's trying to get a rematch with Pacquiao trying to get a rematch with Floyd, Sean trying to get a rematch with Errol, Danny trying to get a rematch with everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's funny, man. But what we want to see, all of us, I think, as fight fans, is see Crawford in the mix, right? But I'm saying he can get his foot into the mix if he fights somebody like a Sergey Lipinets. But instead of fighting a Sergey Lipinets, which they should have been trying to do a negotiation for that a while back, or a Kell Brook, which was available to him, but he just never took advantage of that situation because Kell Brook wanted to face him, and Sergey Lipinets has expressed his desire to face Terrence Crawford, right? And now I'm introducing a whole new dimension into the equation with Clarissa Shields, talking about Clarissa Shields doing a sort of an exhibition match with Terrence Crawford. So that what I'm trying to say is he could do I think he could still do many different things, because he does have options. He just is not using them because Bob Arum just closed down all those doors talking about some fucking mandatory. Who gives a fuck about that? Who the fuck is Gavaliauskas? I don't give a fuck about Gavaliauskas. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't care about Gavaliauskas either. And you shouldn't care about him because honestly, he's not impressive at all. Like I said before, go watch Gavaliauskas versus Ray Robinson if you have the time. You can watch the entire fight. It was a draw, but really Ray Robinson won that fight. What can I say about Ray Robinson? He got knocked out by Dennis Ugas. Let's just put it that way. Think of it as you will. All right? Dennis Ugas, any kind of fight like that, Dennis Ugas versus Terrence Crawford, something for us to measure him with. You know, a Lipinets, an Ugas, a Jesse Vargas. I just found out that fucking hell. What the fuck? I'm sorry about that, man. Oh shit. I just accidentally deleted the comment intangible, but I didn't want to delete the comment. I don't know how to undelete this fucking thing, man. Put user in timeout. What the fuck did I just press? Oh, that's where I add moderator. Okay. I can make one of you guys a moderator. I just realized. What the fuck did I do? Did I delete everything? I put you in timeout? How the fuck do I undo that? The fuck? Dude, I'm sorry about that intangible. I just accidentally. What the fuck? How did I. Oh shit. Fucking thing, man. I'm so sorry about this intangible. I don't know how. I was trying to bring back the viewership of the thing and I accidentally pressed the wrong fucking thing. I'm so pissed right now. Anyway, okay. I'm about to figure it out. Caping from Casey. Crawford hasn't even beaten a Shambe Mitchell level fighter yet. Where at welterweight you talking about? Yeah, he faced guys higher than Shambe Mitchell. I mean, you got Jose Benavidez and you got Amir Khan. Mayweather and Zab were friends and Olympic teammates. There you go. Roy Jones fought a friend, of course. The fuck? You deleted fucking message, you fucking prick-ass motherfucker. The fucking ass thing. It deleted everything. The fuck? It won't show me the fucking deleted messages. Ah, fucking ass motherfucker. Ah, shit. Anyway, sorry about that, folks. Yeah. Tyson Fury, yeah. Kenny Porter is the boss. He said they want Bud. Yeah, man, I know. Kenny's the guy that tells Sean what to do. Okay, this is who we're fighting next, I know. KP from Casey says, when has the WBO made Aram fighters have a mandatory? Ray Robinson was stopped by Ugas. That's what I'm saying, Ninja. The Brits have a soft spot for the WBO. The WBO's always been Aram's belt. Remember, man, he had it for a long time. Yeah. Herring's a top rank fighter. He fights on ESPN in November. Yeah, but he's an Al Heyman fighter. The promoter is top rank, but he's from Al Heyman is his manager, his advisor. Tommy Temper. WBO has been linked historically between Frank Warren and Bob Arum. Yep. Can't undelete. What the fuck? It comes back after the timeout, 5 minutes. Oh, man. Man. That's some bullshit, though, Tommy. Anyway, so I was saying that the major point I'm making is that Terrence Crawford cannot be the best welterweight out there, not only because he doesn't have the proper resume, but also because he still continues to face opposition that have they just are nowhere on his level. Like he's not facing anybody on his level. It's just mismatches straight through, and that's not cool. I mean, you can't be just feasting off of mismatches. All right, unless you want to be on box rec like that. But I just don't get it, man. You know, these soft touches, man. So, but he does have, like I said before, he has options. He could face Sergey Lipinets, Jesse Vargas. I think Jesse Vargas mentioned as a possible opponent for. Who was saying that they wanted Jesse Vargas, boy? Because Jesse Vargas is still at welterweight. Possible opponent for who, boy? It wasn't Sean Porter. It was wasn't Lipinets. I can't remember who it was. So he's a possible opponent as well, right? You got your Dennis Ugas. Ugas won a belt. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, man, I'm like, I'm 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 somewhat. I'm getting a little bit annoyed right now with the lighting of the camera and all kinds of crap. Yeah. At the end of the day, man, this guy, he's facing guys, and he's talking about how he's being sidelined by the major guys, but he's not even facing, some kind of proper opposition, who want to face him. Kell Brook wants to face him. Why didn't he try to make that fight with Kell Brook? That's what I never understood. You got Sergey Lipinets, who had a nice big win against Lamont Peterson. To let Lipinets have a shot at you, man. You know what I'm saying? And again, these are fights Arum can easily make. It's Arum to make these fights. All right? You know how we know this? Felix Diaz faced Terrence Crawford. He's an Al Haymon fighter. John Molina faced Terrence Crawford. He's an Al Haymon fighter. Okay? So Bob Arum is the one that is limiting this stuff from happening. It's not Al Haymon. It's not the PBC. It's not a PBC fighters won't want to face Terrence Crawford. It's that Al Haymon either offering them too little bit of money, or not Al Haymon, I mean Bob Arum. Or Bob Arum is just simply keeping Terrence from these people. All this talk about the PBC fighters not wanting to face Terrence Crawford is not true. It's just that, it's difficult to do any kind of negotiation with Bob Arum, period. Right? Bob Arum makes it very difficult for you to make a fight with his fighters. You know what I mean? Sounds like Garvin. And that's the thing. And I think a lot of people try to blame Al Haymon and PBC, and it's not true at all. If you look at PBC fighters, they're everywhere, right? Like I said before, Jamal Herring is a PBC fighter. He's now with ESPN, but he is part of the Premier Boxing Champions. No matter where he goes, he's going to be a Premier Boxing Champion. Danny Jacobs is always going to be a Premier Boxing Champion. They're always going to be able to go back to PBC if they need to and fight there. Andy Ruiz, right? Of course, it's a platform to develop fighters for people to, become well known and stuff. It's just a platform, but they are PBC fighters. No matter if they sign with a certain promoter. Remember, PBC fighters have nothing to do with the promoter that promotes them. Lou DiBella promotes a number of PBC fighters, both on two platforms, on the Fox platform and on the Zone platform. But they're all it's like a league of fighters. Right? So Jamal Herring is a PBC fighter. Derevyanchenko is a PBC fighter, but Derevyanchenko is on the Zone now. Danny Jacobs is on the Zone now, right? Jamal Herring is on ESPN. We got Artur Beterbiev. He's a PBC fighter, but now he's with Top Rank, and he's going to be on ESPN. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of things people just don't understand. Premier Boxing Champions. It's a league of fighters. They have one thing in common. They have a manager named Al Haymon. And it's all about promoting them and making them known. So PBC goes beyond just Fox and Showtime. At least the fighters. Think about what I'm saying. So you realize just how much Al Haymon is everywhere with his fighters. Okay? There's no limit to what you can do with Al Haymon and his fighters. But there are limits to what you do with Bob Arum and his top-ranked fighters. And for them to say that it's unfair that the PBC fighters be fighting among themselves before they go and make a deal with Bob Arum is to show you just how naive people are. If you have all this deep pool of fighters, they're going to fight amongst themselves. Why would you waste money, spend money outside of where the fighters that you have to go make a fight with a fighter who it's going to be difficult to do negotiations with the promoter, because the promoter going to make it difficult. And on top of that, that poor fighter out there, he being hedged in by that promoter. The promoter doesn't even want that fighter to go mix with the other fighters. Because that's the way how Bob Arum's behaving. He's saying, "Oh, I want to have these PBC fighters, but I only want Errol Spence. I don't want Sean Porter." So he had Max Kellerman interview Sean Porter to make it sound like Sean Porter don't want to face Terrence Crawford. But in truth, Sean Porter wants to face Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? But Bob Arum done already said in a statement that Sean Porter don't sell. So the same thing they'd be saying about Errol had been saying about Terrence Crawford, that he don't sell. All of a sudden, that makes sense. Okay, Bob Arum can use that, but Errol Spence can't use it. Like, this is the thing with you fight fans, man. You guys are so hypocritical. Bob Arum says Sean Porter don't sell. That's not no reason, according to you fight fans, for Errol to say the same thing. You say he ducking Terrence Crawford when he says that, but when Bob Arum says it, all of a sudden it ain't a duck. Then Max Kellerman comes up and really disses Sean Porter and tells him how, he always coming up short and stuff with great fighters. And he's saying, do you really want that fight with Terrence Crawford? And Sean says, well, I have to talk with Terrence Crawford first. I really want to rematch with Errol, which is stupid, because if you go up on ESPN, you should be saying, yes, I want Terrence Crawford, but whatever. Max Kellerman kind of led him into that. But at the end of the day, they trying to protect Terrence from these guys, Sean Porter. They only won one fight, which is Errol. Right? So they just like everybody else, right? Errol won one fight, which is Pacquiao. let's get it down now. Let's get who's chasing who. Errol trying to chase Pacquiao. Keith Thurman trying to chase Pacquiao. Danny Garcia trying to Keith Thurman, Errol, and Sean. Sean is trying to get a rematch with Errol. See how funny it is? And then Terrence Crawford trying to get Errol. and then we got you see how it's just a funny episode of things, right? And Pacquiao trying to get Mayweather. So it's really funny how these fighters are trying to get certain fights for themselves, and they can't see the possibilities of fighting other fights. Just do some other fight, man. You know what I'm saying? Mix it up. Y'all have round robin. Y'all gonna be around for a while. That's why I'm not really mad if Errol don't face Terrence right now, because it's like everybody trying to get everybody who they want. Ain't nobody trying to just fight the fights, right? And I'm just saying, just fight the fights. Mix and match. Let's get it on the road. We got all these hot prospects out there. And like somebody was saying, they can't really say who's the best welterweight out there. They need the dust to settle and see who would remain, which is sensible. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, Errol right now currently is the best welterweight out there because he got 2 belts. Nobody else got 2 belts. And he got a good resume now. Right? Right. He's just like Danny and Thurman. He's faced Porter. He's looking to face Danny next, which was what Keith Thurman did. He faced Porter first and then Danny second. And maybe he faced Keith Thurman next. Who knows? Or he may face, it doesn't matter because all of those guys, again, are top tier guys, and they've been world champions. So at the end of the day, if Errol wanted to, he don't even have to face Terrence still, God knows when. If he don't want to, but he wants to face Terrence because Terrence undefeated and he got a belt. So Errol will face Terrence. If he don't face Terrence, one of the other guys is going to face Terrence. It's inevitable. All Terrence got to do is just keep winning, right? He gonna mix it up with him. But what I'm saying is, though, at the end of the day, you can't say that they ducking Terrence. They're not ducking Terrence. They got a lot of talent all around, and some of that talent is better than Terrence currently. All right. Shit, I'm sorry about that, Intangible. I apologize again. I accidentally hit the wrong button. Anyways, man, people, I got to get out of here. Tommy Temper, I'm going to talk with you in a minute, but my point, anyway, I don't know if I even made the point, was that, yeah, I can't see him being top welterweight at this point in time. I think Errol is the top welterweight at this time, mainly because he got 2 belts and he got a good resume. Terrence don't got no resume like none of them guys, right? And is it a fault of his? I say yes. I'm going to tell you why. He could at least have a proper name on his resume, right? A proper name. He got an Americana, but that's a name, but it ain't a proper name. You know what I'm saying? And that could have easily been rectified by him facing Kell Brooks next. And his mandatory could have been stepped aside if he had just went straight for the Kell Brook fight. And if he couldn't get a Kell Brook fight, Jesse Vargas. Get the Jesse Vargas fight. And if you couldn't get the Jesse Vargas fight, Sergey Lipinets. All them guys just sitting down on shelves right now. Jesse Vargas ain't got an opponent. Lipinets ain't got an opponent. Kell Brook ain't got an opponent. You know what I'm saying? Terrence had those options. Dennis Ugas ain't got an opponent. So you got 4 names he could have gone after. Right? Besides Danny Garcia, which he hasn't even, I don't know, they pursuing Danny Garcia. That would be a hell of a fight. If he had Danny Garcia, that'd be a great fight because that That's the fight that I want to see. I'm really interested to see that. Not so much Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford, because I feel Errol Spence got the advantage over Terrence Crawford. Honestly speaking, I don't care what y'all say. He got an advantage over him, not only size wise, but also in terms of just the fundamentals. He's just so sound that I just don't see how, and he's so composed. I just don't see how Terrence Crawford could phase him. And just how he performed against Sean Porter, I know Sean Porter's hell of a lot more tougher opponent than Terrence Crawford is. He's smart and all of that, but he's more. Terrence is behind boxing. He's not. There's nothing unorthodox about Terrence. So Errol will have an easier time with Terrence than the unorthodox Sean Porter, who's coming to get you, right? Floyd had a harder time with opponents who was coming to get him and were undeterred or just keeping on bringing the heat. Those are always tougher fights for a boxer. If it's just straight boxing, Errol gonna win that fight because he's gonna be always landing those body shots. He's gonna be very consistent with the body work on Terrence, breaking him down slowly, and they would crash him in the final couple of rounds. He crashes his ass. He ain't gonna knock him out, but he'll crash him. The same thing with Danny Garcia. You're gonna see Danny Garcia get broken down slowly. Errol's be stealing those body shots. 11 and 12, he gonna crash him, and that'll be that. He ain't gonna get him out of there, but he gonna beat his ass really decisively. Both of them gonna get ass whipping, decisive ass whipping. I mean, this ain't rocket science, and it's strange because you guys were saying that Errol would do that to Sean Porter, but I knew that Sean Porter is a different kind of beast because he's just so big. He's big, and not only is he big, but he's got good enough defense, and he's quick. He's very, very fast. Terrence is not that fast. Y'all overrate Terrence. Neither is Danny. Danny's slower than Terrence, right? Danny's gift is counterpunching. Terrence's gift is tactical. He tries to adapt and shift around things and work things out as he's fighting you, kind of like Mikey. The problem with that is Errol's also tactical, and Errol's bigger, right? Errol has good defense. Don't get it twisted. So I mean, I just don't see it, man. I don't see what people be talking about. Errol will have an easier styles make fights. Errol will have an easier time with Terrence Crawford. Maybe about the same or easier time with Danny Garcia, because Danny Garcia got really good defense. Danny Garcia he's very smart as well, and in trades, that's where Danny shines the best. But again, Errol is a boxer, so he will sharpshoot you, peck away, and crash your ass later on. He did it even with Sean Porter. He was pecking away. He couldn't land a whole bunch of body shots, but he was pecking away at Sean Porter. That's how he able to drop him later on. And the rest of his stuff was trying to keep defense on point. He not getting hit with, he got hit with a 4-punch combination once, but Sean throws a lot of punches, right? But Terrence is not Sean Porter. He's just not. He's not. So you're just not going to get that kind of fight. And Terrence is not going to make it a dog fight either. Errol going to make it a dog fight, not him. Errol going to force Terrence to fight him back. But Terrence is not the guy to initiate the dog fight. Sean Porter, on the other hand, will initiate a dog fight. He'll get in there on you, and he will dog fight you. So that's the difference. Sean makes everybody fight. He makes everybody fight. Terrence will have to be clinching up, just running around the ring backwards. Everybody runs from Sean Porter. He's got a lot of tenacity, man. And he's not known as a power puncher or anything. He's just so intense. He's strong too. He's very strong. So anyway, that's what I got to say. So my point is not so much his resume, but what is he doing now? Like, what is he doing to make his situation better? And I don't see any pointers to that happening. What I'm seeing is a lot of social media kind of stuff, kind of Gervonta Davis style. He trying people to be in the media a lot, like Tyson Fury, Tyson Fury does not impress me. I don't even give a fuck that he's in the WWE. None of that shit impresses me. Because you're not facing nobody. You ain't facing nobody. And it's hypocritical when you say, "Oh, Tyson Fury, he ain't facing nobody, but Terrence Crawford gets a pass." Oh, because he's, nobody want to face him. Now, please, now, don't stop with that bullshit. All right, we all know Kell Brook wants him. There was an interview with Sergio Lipinus. Lipinus was like, "Yeah, sure, I would like to have Terrence Crawford." He said straight up. Okay, that's two people. All right, right. Jesse Vargas is another guy you can have. That's a good, solid fight. I know he ain't dropping Jesse Vargas, and that's gonna be a dog fight too. And Jesse Vargas got some pop, so I would love to see that. Love to see that. You know. Anywho, that's what they got for now. I'm gonna catch you guys later. Let me go and check out Tommy Temper right now. You guys have a good one. Peace.